I'm going to show you how to make the world famous tarte tatin. First of all, you need to choose your pan carefully. This one here is non-stick. It's about 10 inches, 24 centimeters diameter, and it's got a metal handle, which is very important because you're going to be putting it in the oven. So pans with plastic handles, not the best idea for this dish. First thing we need to do is roll our pastry out. I've rolled this slightly bigger than the pan. If you look up at the pan there, see there's about 5 centimeter overlap around the edge. That's what to aim for. Doesn't matter if it's not perfectly cut, and you'll see why later. Next thing I have to do is peel the apples. I'm going to peel my apple with a speed peeler, like this. First top, then the bottom, and then down the sides. And then cut it in half horizontally. Now I've prepared a bowl full of cold water with half a lemon squeezed into it, where I'm going to keep the apples. That stops them going brown. Next thing to do is take the apple halves one at a time and just scoop out this little bit of core here, like that. And if you need to, scoop out a little bit of the top. Oop. Okay. Pop them right back into the water so that there's no chance of them going brown. Just an ordinary teaspoon is fine for this. You don't need a special tool. Now for my vanilla pod. This is it here. Nice and bendy, fat, full of lovely little black seeds. And what we do, lay it flat on the board, small sharp knife, hold one end, and then push the tip of the knife into the pod, right down to the board, and then holding the vanilla pod firmly, slice it like this in half, right along the length. Just like that. I'm going to go back over it, make sure I got it in half. Yeah, there we go. And as you can see, pod's in half, still attached at the top. Inside here are lots of tiny black sticky seeds, and they are what makes vanilla taste fantastic. So what we want to do is hold the tip of the pod down again, and using the knife just scrape these seeds out, and there they are. Now I'm going to leave these on the tip of the knife while I get the pan ready. Now I'm going to turn the ring on. There we go. Put on a medium heat, get that pan hot. Now I'm going to add the sugar. And now I'm going to measure out the calvados. So 100 mils. Is that much? I'm going to add that to the pan. And then pop in the vanilla seeds. And the pod. The pod's got fantastic flavour, so it makes sense to use that too. When you see the surface get lots and lots of small bubbles like that, that's when you know that it's getting towards the right point. And you can always dip a spoon in and look at the colour. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. And you must remember never to touch it with your fingers because it's very, very hot, much hotter than boiled water, and you get a really nasty burn if you get that on your skin. So We just have to wait. The apples I've drained and put in a colander, so they're ready to go whenever I need them. Because once the caramel's ready, there's no waiting around. We have to move right away with the apples. Caramel's getting slightly darker now. We could go darker, but it's quite a light caramel we want. So I'd say that's ready. I've got my apples here, and I'm going to throw them in. Stand back when you do this in case there's any water. Okay. Turn the apples around in the mixture. Making sure you don't splash yourself. Don't be tempted to toss the pan because you don't want caramel on your arms. It's very sore. And as the apples warm up, they'll release moisture and the caramel should turn into more of a sauce in the pan. Right, now we have to cook the apples for about 5 minutes or so. And what happens is the juice comes out of the apples and makes the sauce quite thin, but we keep cooking until the juice from the apples evaporates and the sauce starts to go thick again. So what you're looking for is apples coated in nice sticky caramel, a bit like a toffee apple. So wait until that moment and then you know it's time to go to the next stage. Okay, now we're ready and the apples are off the heat. We're going to make sure that all the apples are cut side up and round side down, because when you turn it out you want all the round side facing up. Take the butter you've measured out before and make sure you do it before, because the last thing you want to be doing now is weighing out your butter. Pop the butter in. Butter's in the pan, pan's off the heat. The next thing I do is roll the pastry back onto the rolling pin. Like that. It's just an easy way of lifting it up and keeping it from stretching. Then I'm going to take it and put it over the pan and unroll it. Now you have to do this quickly, or all the pastries, the butter in the pastry is going to melt. So tuck your pastry down the side. And be very careful again not to touch the hot pan or the caramel. To make sure you don't,